What are the two initiatives that your organization has decided not to pursue in 2020? Peter Drucker, the management guru, is reported to have asked people who were in a advisory or mentoring relationship with him, what are two things that you've decided to stop doing? Of course, the number two, it may be one or three or nothing. But the point being that organizations need to stop and consider and do a deliberate gut check on whether there are initiatives in their organization that can be terminated in 2020. Of course, some of you, as soon as you hear this, may tell me that from a cost perspective, we have reduced everything that needs to be reduced. Of course, the tricky part here is that it cannot be looked at just from a cost perspective, but at the confluence of technology, operations, finances, and cultural considerations. A 2018 study showed that 70% of all change projects fail. Assume that subsequently this success rate has improved and we are looking at 50% of success rate. It is a large amount of cleanup that needs to follow every project that has either closed or been abandoned. It is not adequate to just terminate the project and reassign the resources to start over, but projects, closed or abandoned projects, or especially change initiatives, leave in their wake remnants of footprints across the organization. Extracting limitations from closed projects, combining them with existing operations and operationalizing them is a smart way of recovering some effort from these terminated or closed projects. Remnants of closed change initiatives, again, need to be evaluated not purely from a cost perspective, but from other considerations as well, like I mentioned, technology, operations, finances, and cultural being some of them. It is very important not only to close these projects, but also to collect and organize information to preserve them for future use. I've always been fascinated with forensic technology, and I have looked at ways of incorporating forensic technology methodology in change management. And one of the things that caught my attention was the assignment of an evidence collector. An evidence collector is assigned at the crime scene, and it is the duty of the evidence collector to collect, organize, collate, and catalog artifacts for future use. Every organization that chooses to terminate or close a project prematurely has to undertake this exercise. And the best acid test for this collection is to have this data reviewed by someone else who was not involved in the project. Of course, I don't have to mention, if you were in an M&A situation in 2019, I'm assuming that you have already undertaken this exercise proactively. This also brings me to the topic of limping projects. Limping or slow-moving projects are usually on a train to nowhere. The decision before the organization is whether to let them run their full course and complete, and then realize that they are obsolete from day one, and a lot of investment has to be made to either upgrade them or bring them up to code, or the other option being that they be terminated where they are and any information, artifacts, or experiences recovered and reused. What makes these decisions more complex is the blurring of social, digital, and cultural aspects in modern execution of projects. Failed change projects usually leave footprints in some very conspicuous areas, systems and IT being one of them. Usually, when a parallel system is stood up in the course of execution, it becomes increasingly difficult to either terminate or take down those parallel systems. Processes, software license that have been procured need to be examined. Of course, this also brings into play the consideration of leadership. Some organizations, as a strategy, pursue a revolving door of leadership. They always hope that the next person who walks through that door could walk on water. And so you have a constant transitioning in and out of leadership. Along with these leaders come systems, processes, relationships, software, methodology that stay long after the leaders have gone. I'm not sure if I read or heard this illustration at the turn when mechanized trucking was introduced. At a particular truck stop, when the delivery was being made, two men used to show up and stand on either side of the truck. For a long time, nobody understood why these men were there and what their roles and responsibilities were. However, it was soon discovered that prior to mechanized trucking, when horse-drawn carriages were delivering goods, at that particular station, there was a noise that disturbed the horses. So the manager, in his wisdom, engaged two men just to hold and calm the horses. The horses were gone, but those men were still showing up. So that is the case with leadership. One needs to be very careful about examining, evaluating things, remnants of past leadership. Of course, in conclusion, I want to caution and counsel that maintaining the right tension is absolutely key in making these decisions. Some writers have argued that maintaining the right tension involves short-term, long-term considerations, full or part considerations, now or later considerations. However, whatever suits your organization, you may make those decisions and recover whatever you can from failed or lost initiatives. So, happy changing, and hope you have at least two initiatives that you're going to terminate for 2020. Goodbye.